Hollywood's big four talent agencies are on the brink of annihilation, but they don't yet know it. In today's Scriptfella special, we're going to unpack the conflict between writers and agents, and we're going to explore how television showrunners can leverage their massive power to disrupt the television industry and redraw the map in Hollywood. Writers versus agents, let's get stuck in. Variety uses a term to describe literary agents as 10%ers, but the reality is that talent agents have often become 100%ers because they're taking much larger fees worth billions of dollars a year in terms of packaging fees and producing fees. There are cases where the agents are earning as much or more than the clients who are creating these massively lucrative shows. These agencies have become massively rich, and some of them are launching IPOs.
An IPO is an initial public offering. It's the first time a stock is offered for sale to the general population. Was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
And at this very juncture, just as they're becoming richer than Croesus, the Writers Guild has said, no you don't, mate, we're firing you, unless you stop this process of taking packaging fees.
Fuck the clients. Your only responsibility is to put meat on the table.
They had negotiations for a month. The agents sat across the table of the Writers Guild representatives. They didn't take them seriously, and they collectively sang the theme tune to Kevin Costner's Robin Hood. Everything we do it for you guys, honestly. Only 93% of the Writers Guild disagreed with the agents' assessment of the situation, and they fired them. And thousands of agents have been fired, and more will be fired. Think of this dispute as a divorce. So wife says to husband, I want to leave you. Husband said, it's not in your interest. Wife says, you watch, I don't need you. And the husband says, I can make life very difficult. And that is what the agencies have started to do now. They are threatening to sue any attorneys who negotiate TV deals or any other deals for their clients, ditto managers. The agencies are in the denial phase. And as a guy who's separated from his wife of 20 years, I can attest to the fact that there are indeed 4 stages that you go through. So number 1 is denial, which is where the agencies are at the moment. Then comes anger, which is where we're going to. Then comes grief, and finally acceptance. The agencies, what do they want? They want to disrupt the supply chain, the production chain. They want to stop the showrunners profiting and going directly to the buyers, the studios and the networks. Can they stop the creators going direct to the client? No, they cannot. They just can't. And the reason they can't is because of supply and demand. That the networks need the showrunners more than they need to be on the good side of the agencies. This whole dispute is in the interest of the buyers, the TV studios, the networks. They're only paying these packaging fees because that's the cost of doing business, because the talent agents have controlled access to the story. But if the story creators have done what they've just done now, which is they've left the agents, why would the television studios protect the interest of these people who've been charging them billions of dollars in extra fees? They don't want the writers to go back to these expensive agents. Now, the showrunners do need representatives. I would argue that what the showrunners need to do is reach out to mid-tier television agents who they love, they want to work with, and the agents want to work with them. They have very good relationships with these individuals. They don't have good relationships with the corporate entities, but they have very good relations with their agents. And they need to tempt them to leave their agencies and set up a new agency. And this agency, let's call it Showrunner, the Showrunner agency, will have an incredible roster to start with. Because the showrunners can come in as a block and say to these agents who they respect and who they want, we want to hire you to work for us for a percentage. And whilst you won't get your packaging fees, your commission of what we're going to be earning, 10, 15, 20, 30 of the most powerful showrunners in the whole of town, is going to be colossal. And which staff writer wouldn't want to be represented by Showrunner, which has all the employers? And this is why it's different to most industrial disputes. Normally the money is the management. The writers are normally the workers, like in the 2008 strike. But the writers, and particularly the showrunners, they are the management, and the agents are the workers. The agents haven't gone on strike. they've been made redundant, they've been fired, and they will not be able to work on any lucrative television shows unless they can get the writers to break ranks and come back. And the writers are not going to come back because they've got the biggest asset of all in television, which is they control the story. The showrunners control the story, they have access and the ear of the buyers, they've got money, they've got distribution. The one thing they don't have is the one piece of leverage that the talent agencies have, which is talent. As the agencies get more angry, they will threaten to boycott any productions which are being run by showrunners who fired them. It's logical, isn't it? It's the one thing they can do. That, in my opinion, would be a massive mistake. And the reason why it would be a mistake is because showrunner would then go into the talent business. Showrunner would then look to represent not just showrunners, where all the story is, it would then go after the agent's clients and represent the best directors and the best talent. I think the other interesting aspect of this whole dispute between the writers and the agents is the importance and the value of story. So if you look at where the story stands in the hierarchy in film, it's actually subservient to the importance of talent, which is what the agencies control. Story chases the talent. So if you have a naked spec script, it only becomes truly valuable now and viable once you've attached talent to it, an actor or actress, or a big director. But in the television business, it's all about the writer, it's all about the story. It's so difficult to come up with an idea or a show that has 100 episodes of episodic or serialized television in it. And the showrunners are the key. They're the magicians. They're the CEOs and the creators. Their story is more important than the talent attached. Why did you watch Breaking Bad to start with? Was it because Bryan Cranston was in it? Well, yeah, after a while, but Bryan Cranston was not a big deal. The show became big because of the story and because of the showrunner. Talent chases story in the TV world. And I think talent would come to showrunner because that's where all the work is. And showrunner could really tempt the talent to come by sharing some of the extra money that is now flying around because the showrunners are going to be able to get a much bigger piece of the pie. I would advise the talent agencies not to withhold their talent because it will actually lead to their destruction. But it all hinges on the showrunners being able to get their collective heads together to tempt away mid-tier agents into creating a new agency which can negotiate for them and can get a bigger slice of the pie, which is now much larger because billions of dollars will not be paid to the talent agencies. In the final analysis, the position of the talent agencies is much like Saudi Arabia if Saudi Arabia ran out of oil. An incredibly powerful country with a massive air force and army and power around the world and the ability to vanquish a lot of its enemies. But it's all propped up by the black gold in the sand. And once the black gold runs out, how many friends will this nation have on the world stage? How much money, how much influence, how much strife and rebellion would happen to the kingdom, which could be split apart once it loses its golden goose, its black gold? The talent agencies have lost the golden goose. They've lost the showrunners. They've lost story. And the individual or business with the best story wins. You cannot make television without story. They no longer control the game. The only way back for them is to go back to the negotiating table, go back to the WGA committee and say, listen, we got it wrong. You're right. Our producer and packaging fees are not in your interests at the moment, but we'd like to make them so that when we win, you win, and when you win, we win. We will take a 10% commission off any of your fees. Great. And we will continue to earn producer fees and we will continue to earn packaging fees, but we'll share any of these 50-50 with you, the creator. Now, this is not ideal because there's still a lot of conflict of interest there, and also it benefits the showrunners, but what about the staff writers? Are they going to see a piece of this money that's being shared around? But I think it is an improvement, and I think the talent agents could viably say, we know how to get a better deal with the TV studios and networks than you do if you strike out on your own. So this is a chance to offset 2 years of chaos and share everything 50-50 with you now. What do you say? Do you think the agents would ever agree to come down from taking 100% of their producing and packaging fees to 50%? Or should the writers just say, you know what, we don't need you, we're off? Please put your thoughts in the comments. I'm Scriptfella. Catch you in the next vid. Out.